Up next is some great greatness. Subject is Velvet Sky. Hey guys, I was watching the Impact 1000 episode, which featured the return of Velvet Sky. What I want to know is, how is it possible she never made it to WWE? I know that we live in snowflake times, but let's just be realistic here. She is hot as one of the hottest women in the history of wrestling. She should really have been a model instead of a wrestler, but it's baffling to me that Piper never can make it to WWE, while Velvet Sky is making indie appearances or getting short-term deals in Impact, NBA, etc. K100, do you happen to know if there's a reason why she never got the shot? Does Velvet Sky have a bad reputation backstage? P.S. I really loved your interview with Bobby Fish. It was nice to hear a guy willing to speak his mind. We always speak our mind, so it's nice to hear a guy come on our show to speak. It's funny. Like, I wonder if Bobby Fish felt like he can come on our show and speak his mind, and like is worried about speaking his mind on other shows. Like so,
I
bro.
guess real quick on Bobby D. I guess enough time had passed because when I first contacted Bobby about coming on, he was
Right.
pretty specific. Like, man, I don't want to dig into the dirt. Really, I don't want to talk
Oh,
about
really?
Punk. I don't want to talk about that. Yeah, but that was months ago. So when he came on, he
Right.
just let loose.
Because we keep it 100 here. Like,
Right.
if people's
Plus,
feelings
let
are
me
going
tell
to
you
get
something
hurt,
to
like,
Joe. Let me explain something to Joe Di real quick. Okay, a lot of people, Joe, had now heard about the K100 rub. Dominic Mysterio,
right.
Rey Mysterio again. When they weren't doing nothing with him, then he's on our show. Guess what? He's a U.S. champion.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
the
you're
two Canadian boys that are up in AW
2.0.
got hired mysteriously after they were on our show. Bro, he wanted to get the rub. Fish, we just gave it to you. You're welcome.
Okay, I got a
Velvet.
lot to say about Velvet Sky. I
Yeah.
Velvet Sky is my favorite female wrestler of all time. Okay,
Mhm.
because she embraced the concept of sex appeal. She wasn't the best worker on the planet, but she was serviceable, which is all you need to be when you're that hot. And she good on the mic, very
Yeah.
intelligent. She's like educated, like she looks fantastic.
And not
Still.
I
only
just
that, and
go
let me
ahead.
tell you, bro, she could cut a promo, and she also was kind of like a girl's guy in that she likes sports. That you
Right.
know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like she
and
don't,
like metal. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like she don't give. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know. That's very weird because I've never heard any stories about her backstage. I worked with her maybe once or twice. Both times she seemed very cool. Oh no, no, she worked in AAA too, and she was very cool.
We
I
should
mean,
get her on the
so
show. She's very smart, entertaining, opinionated. Plus,
Yep.
too, she's like she's she's got a very interesting list of guys she's dated in the business. Like she
oh, I
dated
didn't
Shane
know that.
Helms. Oh, she
Bully.
dated
Really?
Shane for a while. She dated
Long
Chris
time.
Sabin
You
for
know
a
what
while.
Shane
And
Helms reminds me of? Let me just say this. Let me before you finish. Shane Helms reminds me of a little bit of like, remember that guy Scott Bale?
yes,
Okay, I didn't know this, but I read this not too long ago. Like when he was young, he was smashing everything.
Yeah.
You
right.
know what I'm saying? And I
Cam
think Shane
Anderson.
Helms is the same way. Anything that was in the North Carolina, South Carolina, area was probably he was smashing.
Well, it's very interesting because Shane was always dating in the business for a while. Then he
Was
started
he?
dating. He dated a girl outside the business. Like he brought her in the club and
Who
stuff.
did he
I
date in the
met her.
business? I don't remember.
Velvet Sky and Daphne.
I think
I didn't know
Victoria.
he was dating
I'm not
Daphne
mistaken. If
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
wrong,
he
I'm
was.
sorry. Yeah.
No, he was hanging out. He was him and Daphne
when
were
she was
were
in
you know
WCW.
yes yeah I was on. I think it
Yeah,
was on
bro.
the.
That's
It
those are
wasn't
my
so much.
Soma years. Those are
Everybody
known
knew
as
it. Right,
the
right,
me and Raven share this moniker. Those were the lost years.
right.
Okay.
But
So
Velvet Sky, I think she's a Yankee fan and stuff.
I
But
believe
she
so.
likes
Yeah.
sports.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
very like yeah.
Yeah, bring her on.
And I thought
Yeah,
I
get
always
it.
thought she was
Joe
super.
would like that.
She was super
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, and
Put
Yeah, I
put
don't.
her on the list
and
too.
then let's be honest, bro. The beautiful people that should have been a WWE gimmick.
Right.
That was
That
a
got over super
perfect.
big.
They
Oh,
used to
didn't
Right.
get
it?
the.
Like
They
Yeah.
used to draw the highest quarter hours. Yeah.
they were
Always.
drawing super numbers, and
I'm
so it's
Hmm.
surprised they
fascinating to
didn't.
me
That's a good point. That's a very yeah.
why did they not bring them into the WWE? They were
You know what
drawing
they
massive rating jumps in Impact,
it,
and like you
it
would have think like, well, who are we gonna get? Let's get those two, but they never did. It was I don't know. I'd love
yeah,
to
that
know
was
if there was a
definitely made for
yeah,
WWE gimmick. Yeah.
absolutely right.
Yeah. Angelina was in developmental and got cut, and that's when she went to Impact. And Velvet
Really?
like was on the periphery. She would do heat matches and stuff. And then, like you said, she dated Shane, so she was around. And then she was around later when she dated Bully Ray, and he came back and said, like, I'm sure they are well aware who she is. I don't know why she never got a shot. I agree with Di.
Okay,
Like,
you said Disco. She dated some guys in the business. Who? So she dated Shane and who else? And
Saban.
Bubba
Saban
Ray,
and
Saban.
Bubba
She was
Ray.
dating
Saban.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
didn't.
Saban for a
Okay,
while.
Saban. All right.
Yeah.
And it's funny because people figured, I think people used that as a reason years ago. What Velvet's not going to go to WWE because her and Shane broke up or something, right? But after Shane
Bro, he
got that,
didn't have
he
that
was in
type
that,
of juice.
right? That's just internet. Because when he had
Right.
that motorcycle accident, the first person to kind of put together like a GoFundMe and have his back was Velvet, and they weren't dating anymore, you know. So
Well, I didn't
there you
know
go.
that.
Yeah.
See, that's why it's good. Anything that's either romance or dating, or serial killers or Boy Scouts, Joe's the guy to go to. All right, continue, Di.
Next is from Garth F. Killing Machine. The subject is exposed booking. Do you think that Adam Copeland, signing with AEW is a perfect example of how Tony Khan has zero plans at all to push or create original stars? I'm a huge Edge fan, but even he himself has said that he's all beaten up. Tony Khan bought a second-hand car that's going to need work on within a month. Something like Edge versus MJF would be fun and all, but who is this really helping? P.S. Do you think that Tony Khan will book a Adam Copeland versus Adam Page for the Adam on a pole match? That was actually mildly funny. This was awful and I was suspended, but I just would want Hughie to make the Spider-Man meme for YouTube. All right. Oh, for the pointing stuff. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's suspend him anyway, Garth, for that, even though it was mildly funny.
Now is
One
that
week. No, let
so?
me
That's a
say this. This guy's just hating on Edge showing up in AEW
yeah.
for no reason. Obviously, I'm gonna give it. Bro, Edge is a good professional character. Cuts great promos. Doesn't slap his thigh when he works, or do the stupid stand in the ring and like form each other back and forth. He's gonna bring. Hopefully, he'll be good for that locker room. Because I would like to see him work one of these AW indie darling guys that slap the thighs all the time or something, and like kind of set him straight with like how to work. Because bro, how much better has Luchasaurus's work gotten ever since he's been with Cage?
Oh yeah, very
Like
noticeable.
100, like way better. Like
Mhm.
100%, he's more of a monster than a than a indie lucha thigh slapper guy. And I'm wondering if Edge is going to go in there and working with these guys that are, let's be honest, they're egregiously doing work with the way, like they're doing all the indie stuff. And Edge is going to work with these guys, and I wonder if, like, if he's going to work their style or they're going to work his style. And I think working with his style is going to improve the work at the top in AEW, which they need, because too many guys are, that show is just like I literally watch that show, and I turn it on at work on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. It starts on the West Coast feed. And at my job, I have like a good 2 hours there where I'm kind of like, it's slow. I sit in my chair, I have the computer on, and I watch it, right? As soon as these guys start doing all the thigh slapping and stuff, I literally just stop watching the match. I get completely disinterested. And I wonder if there's a lot of people out like me out there like that get disinterested when they see this phony, fake wrestling, thigh slapping, stand there, let the guy punch,
But let me say
all
one
that
thing.
shit,
I heard that something had happened in the club and you needed to be reprimanded because they said emergency 85, 86, everybody on deck, and you were like, wait a minute, not until I finish seeing the Riho versus Emi Sakura versus Willow
What's the
Nightingale
Oh
match.
yeah.
Shikita,
Yeah.
or what's her name?
Yeah.
Shikita. Who are they? I don't even know the names of the Japanese.
Cheeto,
Yeah.
what is her name?
Cheetah.
What's her name?
Sheeta. Yeah.
Cheetah.
Cheetah
Yeah,
Riho.
Cheetah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Bro,
Let me just say about
one of them, I don't know which one it is. I think it's Riho. Bro, what I'm gonna tell you is true. I walked next to her in backstage in Impact. Bro, she looked like she's a girl that should be in elementary school.
Yeah, she's like a 90. It's like 85 pounds, right?
Yeah, and short. Very nice. All the Japanese are nice, but
They're very
it's like,
polite. Like
who's she
you're like
supposed to hurt? Unless you're putting in with somebody her weight, who is she supposed to be a threat to?
This looks like domestic violence. Like if you, I mean, seriously, you're gonna go in there against Chris Statlander? It's like, come on, the girl's gonna like that. That's
I'm
not
still a
fair.
big fan of Willow
Like,
Nightingale going out with her eye bandaged, and then when the thing came up, there was no medication on it. There was not like a black and blue or
Yeah,
something, right? It
yeah,
was just the
nothing,
normal
right?
eye. Come on,
Nexus,
bro.
Nexus,
Just
You know,
make the extra effort. That's
right.
all. How hard could that be?
I mean, they
You
have a
mean
production
logic?
meeting.
Logic says, I think she sprayed mist in her eye, and her eyes. That's why she's wearing that eye. Why didn't you take the extra 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes to make it look like if it
Sell
did
it.
come off, which it did,
yeah, put a
right? Where
contact
you're
in or
like, okay,
something.
Sell it.
right.
Yeah.
Or do it
I just
old
want to.
school Steiners. Remember when the Steiners actually punched each other for real? And I
Right.
think one of them actually, I don't know if it was them or if it was Ricky Steamboat, did use sandpaper on his face.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Bro, that takes a long
Steamboat.
time to come back.
Nexus from Garth F. Killing Machine. The subject is exposed. The subject is
No, that's the one you
exposed-
just did. That's the one you
Oh, I
just did.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
you're right. Next one is from. Let's do about 10 more here because we're getting long. Did a very comprehensive mailbag tonight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you have like a siren emoji, like a sound effect you can play, like police
can
or
get it.
something?
You need the. Does that use software or what does it use, Joe?
All right,
No?
because we need.
I can put anything I want on there, basically.
Okay, because
Well,
we
you
need
should, because you need.
siren. We need a siren emoji for this next email. Okay, like
Right.
it's an alert.
And concoct
because-
some Jamaican horns, bro, when we want to put people over.
Yeah.
Because it's from Mike Holder.
Okay.
The subject is Jade Cargill and Larry Dumbass. What's up, guys? So it's been a minute. I want to take the time to thank all of you for the amazing content over the years. Conan, you're great as always. Joe, you've come a long way and best producer in the game. And Disco, well, you got that nose thing and the Shake Shack gig going for you. My question is, after NXT, who should Jade face off first on the main roster, Raw or SmackDown? And who will she be booked like a black version of China? Now on to Larry.
Okay, before you say that,
Okay, go ahead.
before you say this, when he did when he put over Disco for having the Shake Shack gig,
Yeah.
that would have been the place to put the Jamaican horns. Just so you know. Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyone who tells someone to pull up to a K100 meet and greet in Philly so he can shut me. It's easy to be a tough guy on a smartphone. So Larry, your clothes, your shoes, your house, and I hope you fall down a flight of stairs.
Wow. Come on.
Oh, and to his cheerleader Droppy D or on Discord. 2. You, Larry. Sincerely, Mike Holder, aka the evil ring announcer. Holder, let's give this guy a 6-month ban, Conan. By the way, hang on. He's got a PS. Jed Frankfurter, we could probably get an episode done on the Ebony Ivory podcast if you do your part of the prep work for the show, you schmuck. Wow.
Do you want to explain
He
to people what the Ebony, for those that don't know about the Ebony and Ivory podcast?
Yeah, it's
Any of you
two
guys?
Mike Holder and Jed Frankfurter are two longtime listeners of the show, so they kind of met because of that, and then they wanted to do a podcast.
One of them's
Showing-
African American, and one of them
Right.
is a white guy. So yeah.
One of them,
Yeah.
no, to be more specific. One of them is like a BLM supporter. The other was a MAGA Republican.
Redneck.
Okay, you want to get with there, yeah, right,
Yeah.
right.
So they thought they could approach different. They thought they could approach different issues on the podcast from the perspective of a white fella, perspective of a black fella, and it always ends in like hideous arguments and like personal insults and threats. And I
Well,
Holder wanted to go to
I
his
think
house.
the ironic thing is they were talking about racial harmony, and it ended up in fisticuffs. They've
Yeah.
only done one episode.
If they would have been in the same room, would there have been punches thrown? Maybe. Joe.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Holder's got a short fuse. There's no doubt about
A
that.
Confederate flag and a BLM
BLM
flag.
flag.
All right, next one's from Don Kekon. Subject is Bron Breakker booking burial botch. I just finished NXT. Conan, you been watching NXT, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. I just finished NXT No Mercy, another great show, but I have to ask you guys about the booking of Bron Breakker versus Baron Corbin. I fully meant to not knowing a single thing at all about wrestling or wrestling booking. But as a fan, I'm not sure what they're doing with Bron Breakker. When NXT was rebooted, Breakker was booked as their top guy, and he's so strong to the point that a lot of my fellow marks are picturing him as a potential star of the future that can maybe even be the person selected to end Roman Reigns' title run. This is before Cody Rhodes' return. But in No Mercy, Breakker has gone from being the babyface top guy to now losing a match to a heel on the mid card to Baron Corbin. Again, I know nothing, so I'm all ears. But do you think booking like this is helping? NXT has a reputation for keeping certain talent down their way too long, and only to move on to the main roster when they've missed their window. What do you think, K100? Well, I'll go back to the way they botched the push of Cross onto the main roster when Vince turned him into the Gladiator and took Scarlet away from him. Like they just like bro. It's like I I don't know. I mean, on that show, I think what they try to do is because remember Conan when like Shotzi and like a lot of these girls were wrestling these like 12, 15-minute matches on the show, right? And we're sitting there saying to ourselves, well, they're obviously doing this because they want to see if these girls can carry a match on Raw for 12 to 15 minutes, which is like, the main shows they're doing 12 to 15-minute matches. So they're like literally like putting them through the process of like training for that match. Everything they're doing with Bron Breakker, I would suggest is like just trying to get him up to speed on the main roster because, dude, like perfect example. If you would have thought, if you'd have been watching NXT and these characters right here, Austin Theory, Damian Priest, and Kevin Cross, right? Who would you have thought when they went up to the main roster in order would have been the guys that they were pushing? You would have thought Cross, Priest, Theory. But it's like literally the opposite. It's like Priest is like the top guy, Theory's the second guy, and Cross is like kind of like an afterthought right now, right? Bro, all they do down there, like anything they're doing in NXT, you can have no clue what they're going to do with these people on the main roster, other than they're just training them to wrestle in spots and do promos and have matches against heels and like they're putting them in positions to wrestle on the on the main roster because bro, it's still a developmental company. The NXT is. It's a developmental brand. They're developing the talent
And
for the
not
main
only
roster.
that, I'm gonna piggyback off of that. I gotta believe that they're putting against Baron Corbin because Corbin's a good worker.
Right.
And they're like, okay, if he can have good matches with Corbin, he's ready. But let's wait till we're ready to bring him in because I really think Bron Breakker. I hope Baron Corbin gets another chance because he wants to go back to the main roster. That was her name, Candy Stratton, or what is it?
Tiffany Stratton.
Tiffany.
Tiffany Stratton. Probably what's her name? Raquel Perez. Is that her name? What's
Yeah.
the little Mexican girl's name? What's her name?
Or is it Rodriguez or Raquel Rodriguez?
I don't
No,
no. No, the one in NXT, dude. Raquel Rodriguez.
I don't know. You
Who's on the
watch
main
it. I
roster,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, bro, but I just don't remember her name right now. And she was actually trained by Daga, who works in AAA. Um, and she trained up with Booker T too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, her. If once you find the name, let me know. I the
Roxanne
only
Perez. Roxanne
Roxanne
Perez.
Perez, right?
Yeah.
Very charismatic, can wrestle. She's just very short, but they push her pretty hard. Like I can see Trick Williams, I can see Carmelo Hayes, I can see all of them in the main roster within the next year, but they gotta, pick the right time. But they're all going there. But I don't see they're doing anything wrong with Bron Breakker.
Yeah. Yeah. There's.
Do you think it was a matter of because he's been portrayed as being, one of the top guys in NXT? You think it was maybe one of those situations where they say, "Hey, let's see what this guy reacts to a loss"?
Dude, it does no, it doesn't matter.
No.
The philosophy there is obviously NXT is a developmental brand. Just put these guys in positions and everything. But like what we're not going to do is marry them into the main roster. well, they're actually kind of doing it now, where like they're showing the like. I love the way that like when they Endeavor bought them, right? And I wonder if somebody from Endeavor said like, hey, why don't we have like some of these like other fighters in the crowd during the show? Like, remember they were like showing like Trick Williams in the crowd for on Raw. Like when we have a UFC pay per view, they show other fighters in the crowd like watching the event. So like I'm wondering if that's like a thing they took from UFC. They're just trying to introduce these people to the audience by sticking them in the crowd. Like, hey, here's Tiffany Stratton, and you look at her, it's like, wow, that girl's like attractive. It's like, okay, well, she's an NXT champion. It's like, oh, let me watch NXT. But it's like, okay, now she's up on the show. Now she's challenging Becky Lynch. So it's like, okay, that's bro. There's no downside to that. Like that's all upside promotions, just trying to get people over quicker and like see how it works and stuff, and it works. It's like the WWE brand right now is pretty strong. They're selling out. The ratings are up. The pay-per-views, your business is doing good. It's a perfect time to integrate some of these talents into the main roster slowly but surely because they're going to get exposure, which is why the NXT is doing better It might be why NXT is doing better numbers right now. Like they're piggybacking off the numbers of the main show, and they're like, we're integrating these people in the thing. Like we're bringing Baron Corbin in to work with the talent. He was. I don't care what anybody says. The guy is an over talent. Like you can't sit there and say like it's like the IWC, the Internet Wrestling Community, always used to Corbin until they saw his character work, which the guy's a really good actor, which is why he does all these silly, these.
And a good wrestler, bro. He had a great finishing move.
Right.
Yeah.
He wasn't bad. He just like his physical presentation just looked kind of mid. He was Baron Corbin. He's like a, we're like medieval.
Just a boring guy.
Just like a boring
look. Then they really dropped the ball, which this is what should have gotten him over. I don't know why it didn't work. One of the reasons was he dressed like when JBL was his manager. He should have gone out in a suit with the hat. Remember? I think they did that once. Once the angle was nearing the end.
But I was watching. I remember we've been doing the show for years. I remember when I was watching his work in like the NXT. It's like, bro, the guy throws a good punch. He looks like he can fight. His work's like, there's nothing. I don't know what's wrong with this guy. That he's getting the tape, but he had the crown, the corny gimmick. There's something like they're still trying to figure out. Like maybe they keep sending him down to NXT because they're trying to figure out. We need to hit it on this guy's character because this guy has a lot of value. He knows how to work. He's a decent sized guy. Let's get him in a gimmick which fits him because just none of them have really hit it yet. And I wonder if that's what they're doing with him. Because
bro, imagine this, okay? Imagine how over Corbin would have gotten if he would have if all of a sudden you see JBL and him like walking down a field, right? It's nighttime, and he's like, "Where are you taking me?" He goes, "Shh, don't worry." He goes, "Where are you taking me?" And he gives him those night vision goggles. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he puts on a spotlight. There's a whole bunch of men. Get the Texas. Get the.
Yeah.
Looks at him and goes, "That's my son, bro." How much would he have gotten over?
Oh yeah, huge.
Right.
And plus, too, I follow the guy on Instagram. Me and him would get along huge because he drinks bourbon and he cooks. He's cooked steak.
Great steaks.
Yes,
I've seen that.
Yeah, so so me and him would be good.
He was a Golden Glove boxer. He probably follows boxing, which we like.
And he's a huge football fan too. He's a Kansas City Chiefs fan. So like
really?
Me and him would totally get along 100%. So
right.